And the winner is La La Land. That can't happen twice in a decade, can it? Tonight on Whiskey Business, Hope Madden and George Wolf from the Screening Room and Oscar picks. Hi, I'm Dino Tripodis, and welcome to Whiskey Business, the podcast not so much about whiskey as it is one with whiskey. And my, oh my, where did the year go? It is Oscar season once again. That time of the year where movie lovers and movie haters both gather around, at least ABC's hoping that you gather around because Oscar ratings have been down for many a year. But for the true movie lovers, it is a red carpet night all of their own as we gather around with our friends and family, or in some cases all by myself. Sometimes I've been watching the Oscars all by myself. I've been watching them since as long as I can remember, probably since 11 or 12 years of age. I remember watching the Academy Awards and watching the magic of Hollywood unfold to see who would be crowned, royalty for that particular year based on how they directed a film or wrote a film or performed a film. Movie stars. Do we still have movie stars, or is everybody just an actor now? Is movie star, almost an insult? I don't know. Times have changed. The movies have changed. And tonight on Whiskey Business, it is our fourth annual Oscar podcast with George Wolf, who has been part of it from the beginning.
Yes.
George Wolf. And last year, the incredible addition, and there is no way we can ever do them now without Hope Madden as well.
That's
Hope
right.
Madden and George Wolf from the Screening Room podcast. If you don't subscribe to the Screening Room, do. That is a movie review website and podcast that these two do. Once again, I ask every year, at least how many movies did we watch from the time we wrapped up the podcast last time?
Well, in 2017 is the year that we actually kept track, and it was 352. So for that year, so somewhere probably around 350 or so.
So you managed to squeeze in another.
A few. Yeah.
350? Wow. Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've watched more movies in a year than some people have literally watched in their lifetime.
Yeah.
But you watch everything.
We do.
I mean, you don't. We're going to talk Oscars tonight.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to talk what you guys consider to be. This will be dropping right before the Academy Awards. It'll be dropping on the Monday before the Oscars. And if you have Oscar pools. Now, we're not going to get into all the minutia of the other categories. We're going to go with the major categories tonight. But if you have an Oscar pool, these two swim pretty well. As far
I think Hope's track record of guessing is a little better than mine, but we do all right.
Yeah, you guys do okay. And also joining us on the podcast tonight, we can't do it without, of course, he's on camera tonight. John Whitney, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Because he watches movies, and Greg Hansberry is on the John Whitney side. So there you go. Oh, yeah. That is the most uncinematic thumb I've ever seen. That is not a John Whitney thumb.
It's not ratty enough. It's not ratty enough.
And our guest bottle tonight is New Southern Revival Bourbon Whiskey.
Bless your heart.
Mm-hmm. Give me that old-time religion. Give me that old-time religion. Yes, this is from a company called High Wire Distilling Company in Charleston, South Carolina. This is a company that was started by a husband and wife. And you know what they say. The husband and wife that make whiskey together fight all the goddamn time. But this is an interesting bottle of whiskey. It's made with 4 grains, as I refer to my notes because I can't remember them completely offhand. Let me get my glasses. The 4 grains are heirloom white corn, white. I can't even read my own writing. White winter wheat, malted barley, and Carolina Gold rice bran. If you like Creole dishes, you'll find a lot of that rice in Creole dishes. That's the particular time. So it's kind of nutty, And to the nose, I know Hope doesn't drink whiskey, but she's always
very
indulges us with a taste.
Yep.
And yeah,
Very good.
you like it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't sure about it at first. This is my second go around with it, and I think I like it a little bit more this time than I did the last time. Not a very long finish, but a pretty good one, and I think it'll serve the purpose tonight. Now you
didn't like
notice
it,
that
I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
Put that on the bottle.
is that what you say? Is that is that your polite way when you don't like something or not fond of something? You didn't like it. I didn't hate it.
No, I've done spit takes before. I mean, if I don't like something, I'm pretty vocal about it.
Well, what I found interesting, because the last 2 times you guys have been on, I know you're not big whiskey drinkers, so we've always taken that opportunity to go with a lower shelf whiskey, something that was palatable, but at the same time not super expensive.
Crush common schmo.
Yeah.
Well, you hate to waste something expensive
That's
if we're
right.
not going
But
to
This
drink
one,
and enjoy
this
it.
one is actually about $70 a bottle, 76 in some other places, but on average, $70 a bottle. But
Can you get that in Ohio?
No, it's not bad.
no, actually, this came from South Carolina. I think.
okay.
I think actually, our friend John Osbeck brought this back.
There you go.
From a trip for me. So thank you, Johnny, for that. So that's we got the Revival Bourbon Whiskey. We got Hope Madden, we got George Wolf, and we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
I mean, my first question right off the bat, was this a good year for the movies in general, as far as you're concerned?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
A lot better than
Oh,
last
yeah.
year, I thought.
Some really good stuff.
Better than last year?
Yes.
So the competition that we will examine tonight actually has competition.
Yeah.
There's, I know that there are always favorites, and we'll get to those. And the questions that I like to ask, I like to know what you think will win as far as being an Oscar prognosticator, and also what you think should have won, because I know sometimes you go with what you want to win the pool and be correct,
Right.
but you also in your heart of hearts think something else should have won. I've seen everything except 2 in the Oscar nominated. You've seen everything.
Except for
Little Women.
Little Women, yeah.
Little Women, which will be another topic of conversation we'll get into a little bit later in respects to women in the director's chair,
Right.
in respects to the Oscar. And that's why I'm glad Hope's here, because we'll get into that. But you say a good year, year. Let's start with what I always like to start with. We'll start small, because there are writers in the room. Hope, George, John, myself. Hansberry did a composition in the 8th grade.
He's literate.
I want to start with the both the screenplay categories very quick: adapted and original. Adapted screenplay, as you know, is based on a screenplay written based on other source material, and then adapted for the screen. And you've got obviously the Irishman, been adapted, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, Little Women, and Two Popes. So when it comes to an adapted screenplay in this category, and I've seen them except for Little Women, who's walking away with adapted screenplay? And the nominees are Steve Zahlen. I never know how to say Jojo Rabbit's last name, the director.
Taika Waititi.
Taika Waititi? It sounds like something Pee Wee Herman would have said on Pee Wee's Playhouse.
It's the magic word.
Taika Waititi. Todd Phillips and Scott Silver, Greta Gerwig, and I can't read my own handwriting.
Anthony McCartan.
Yeah,
for the Two Popes.
All right, so who's winning? Who's getting the adapted screenplay? I'd like to get that one right in my Oscar pool.
I think that Greta Gerwig will win it.
You think now
I think she should win it.
she should win it,
And I
or
think she will win it.
and she will win it, and it's not a gift. It's not a. It's not
Oh
a.
my God, no.
Here's the Oscar.
No, here's
for,
the thing,
because you didn't get nominated for Best Director.
Generally speaking, except for last year, which we won't even talk about, it's kind of a lot of people say that the people who win for screenplay, those are the films that ought to win Best Picture but aren't going to. I think that's commonly, which is why I think that Bong Joon-ho is going to win it for original screwplay. And
Parasite,
it's,
right?
for Parasite. And it's not uncommon for a woman to win a screenplay. That's not uncommon at all. And in fact, Greta Gerwig, this is not the first time that she's been in contention. And also, I think that people, myself included, were really impressed by what she brought to this war horse neither one of us really had any particular interest in
That's-
seeing Little Women when it
That's
came
the whole
back
thing
out.
about the movie is what makes it so special is how she adapted it.
Yeah.
Everybody has seen Little Women. You've seen it on TV. You've seen it in the movies. You've seen it. Your nephew do it in his 7th grade play or
Right,
whatever.
right, yeah.
Nobody, including us, wanted to see. Seriously?
I didn't want to see it either.
Right. It's so
It's
good.
so good.
It's so good because she adapts it in a different way.
She
And
does.
It's fantastic.
She time hops in a. I mean, she pulls in different aspects of the book that other films have not pulled in. But then the other thing is there's this undercurrent theme where it's really basically she's talking to the Academy and explaining this is why I'm not going to win Best Director.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
really?
Yes.
It's very,
and
very. She has a way
Savvy.
of making it urgent
Yeah.
and talking about today's themes while the characters are still being true to the story. It's really brilliant. It's
It
a
is.
brilliant adaptation.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. And the way that she reimagines or like revisits these characters, these 4 sisters, and gives them, they seem like real people now. They seem like my sisters. They seem like humans as opposed to, these sort of Civil War era.
Right.
And also Laura Dern, who's going to win for a different category. She was so great in this. What they did with the character of the mother was so wonderful. She has, layers and nuance and bitterness, this edge to her that she would have had, but she doesn't in any other adaptation.
Will this be the last remake or reboot of Little Women?
Probably not.
But it would be hard to see someone,
One up it. Oh, yeah,
exactly.
there's
I mean,
way.
it's
There's
interesting
no
that you
way.
say that she breathed
She
new life.
definitely
Yeah.
does. Definitely does.
I definitely, and I apologize. That's one I did not get to, and I kind of maybe felt the same way you did, John. I was like, how many times
I
I
felt
got
the
to see
same
this
way
movie?
too before I saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really.
but it's your job. You need to go see all the movies.
All right,
Right.
the protest is lifted. I am going to go see
Okay.
it.
Yay.
I will
All
see
All
it.
right, so she wins for best adapted screenplay.
Do you think so too?
Yeah, I think so.
And then an original screenplay, Knives Out, Ryan Johnson. Of course, I just watched this, and maybe because it's still fresh in
I
my
can
mind.
see it on your face.
Marriage Story.
Yeah.
With Noah Baumbach. 1917, Sam Mendes, and he had a little help there with Kristen Wilson. And, of course, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Quentin Tarantino, and Parasite with the guy who's got the best first name ever.
Yeah. Bong.
Bong.
I
Bong
really
Joon-ho.
like
Bong Joon-ho.
Knives Out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Love Knives Out.
we've talked
that.
about this
Loved it.
before.
Script.
I have not heard of a single person who didn't love Knives Out. We have not run into one person who didn't love that movie.
It's
Why
not
didn't
gonna
it-
win.
Why didn't it get more love?
That's a good question.
Yeah, it is a good
because,
question.
It's one that I could have easily seen nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah, agreed.
And it's fabulous. It's so inventive and well written and well acted. Such a great ensemble, well directed. And you're right. I have not run into any person that has not liked that movie.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to win
No,
in this category.
No, I don't think so either.
because of Parasite and how brilliant Bong Joon-ho.
So Parasite wins original
Yeah.
screenplay?
I think so
Yeah.
too.
Okay, because now once again, when we get into the other categories, who would be the runner up in that? Would it be Quentin Tarantino?
Yes, I think so.
So they steal one from Quentin
Yeah.
with Parasite.
Because it's by far the superior screenplay and film. By far.
But you have to read it. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Believe it or not, I think at the Golden Globes, was that the Golden Globes when they
Yes,
were
where he said
translating,
that, yeah.
where he said something about
Yes.
the subtitles.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Anybody that if people get over it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Take it, read the movie, and you, it's not going to take anything away from the performances.
And if Parasite happens to be your introduction to Bong Joon-ho, see everything he's
everything
done.
he's ever done.
it is my
Oh,
introduction
see
to him.
Go back
everything
and
he's
see
done.
everything
Oh
that
yeah,
he's done. He's
the
brilliant.
host. Snowpiercer is his one.
Mother.
His,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
and he's
Mother,
done
yeah.
2 English language films: Snowpiercer and Okja, and then Mother,
Memories
Memory
of
of a
Murder.
Murder, and then The Host,
Incredible.
which is just amazing.
He's an incredible filmmaker.
Yeah,
The Hoax.
The Host.
The Hoax.
It's a monster. It's a monster movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a creature
Okay.
feature.
All
It's
right.
awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so there's some homework from Hope and George to check out as well.
I think Once Upon a Time could sneak in there and grab it, though.
Well, I think about
No, I
I think
could see
about
that. I mean-
what should win. You think what should win and what will win
Yes.
is Parasite.
Yes.
Yes.
For original screenplay.
Yes.
And this is where it splits a little bit. What some people say, another Quentin Tarantino, he's not going to get Best Director, or maybe he will. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where the vibe is for Quentin this year. I don't know if he's finally come around to the point in Hollywood where like he should have won for Pulp Fiction, but you didn't. So, and this one's pretty damn good. Here you go. Is that the year? Is this the year for that? I don't know.
Well, he won for Pulp Fiction for screenplay.
I'm talking about for directing and so forth and so on. Yeah, he did win for that. I'm saying, is this the year where he starts to clean up a little bit? Because you watch some of the other award shows that try to give you some idea as to where things are going, which I think this year, I don't know if that's completely true or not. We'll get into the Directors Guild Awards and the producers and so forth and so on. But they say that the Best Picture, even though there's a sort of a favorite, which we'll get into. I'm getting ahead of myself. I get so excited when you guys are here. But
all these are great. That's
they
the
are.
problem.
They are. No, they really are.
And even though it's still... Go ahead, Johnny.
No, I'm just saying they're all great. Any one of these could win. You know, Marriage Story, it was so well written.
So well written.
Because, I mean, because it felt personal.
It sure
Do
did.
you know what I mean? Oh my gosh.
Holy moly.
And just and the acting really shined in that film, by the way. Although some shined a little bit too hot.
It puts you through the ringer. It really does.
It really and it did it in such a real way.
Authentic.
You know,
very.
I was thinking like, man, did I get this wrapped up? And I'm going for another Academy Award nominated divorce movie. Did I get this wrapped up with Kramer versus Kramer? You know, because I'd seen that in recent years, and I go, no. I mean, these Noah Baumbach. It seemed like I knew these people, or
well, you know, it unfortunately is based on his and Jennifer Jason Leigh's own breakup.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's
including the
extremely
letters
personal.
that they read to each other.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
okay. Well, now I have even more. How do you painfully bring that to the screen?
I know.
And you know what he said? He said Jennifer Jason Leigh liked the film.
Oh, wow. Good. So it must have been truthful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because you know, like
it's so personal.
I know, and then you don't know who you're rooting for, or should you be rooting for? And then I said, almost sudden, and I see it just completely. No spoiler alerts or anything, but I see it completely slipping out of their hands.
Yeah,
and it becomes down to the lawyers.
The lawyers.
And that's what we'll get when we get into the actress category.
And how lawyers could really fuck something up.
Oh yeah, I called it.
You know what I mean?
It becomes about the business.
Oh
of
my
divorce.
gosh!
And
I
you
know.
can feel Noah Baumbach in the script taking responsibility for the situation, but yet you don't feel that the film is taking sides, which is a brilliant piece of writing.
No,
it's an incredibly.
It's
I mean,
really
he's a remarkable writer, but I think this is probably his most because it is. I think it's his most personal film.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And so it's I think his most impressive screenplay.
The scene in Adam Driver's apartment,
Yes.
where they have the screaming match, and then he has the meltdown.
It reminds me of Cassavetes for some reason. That sequence was because it was so tight and closed and
I can see that.
kind of.
Yeah.
Stomach was in knots, and I swear to God, I don't mean to be hokey here, but when he broke down, I kind of broke down a little bit as well.
It reminded me, even though it was a longer scene, it reminded me of the scene in Manchester by the Sea a few years ago between Michelle Williams and Casey Affleck.
Yes.
There was such raw emotion, even though this scene went on longer and had more of a build up to it as they started to try to be civil and then started screaming at each other by the end of it. It's incredibly raw.
And then when
You could tell they just set up a couple of cameras just to let it rip. They just let him rip.
Yeah.
And then when
They did a great job.
When Scarlett Johansson just starts, rubbing his, like the madness is over. You know.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
Moving on.
No, you're right. They're all fantastic
are. They
screenplays.
really are.
They are.
So
They're
good.
great, all of them.
I can't. I don't. I'm gonna. In my Oscar pool, I'll probably go for who I think will win and say Tarantino. But and maybe because, like I said, maybe because it's fresh in my mind because I just saw it a couple days ago.
The other thing, one other quick thing about Bong Joon-ho, from all indications, although we didn't get any invites, all indications he has just been charming everyone.
Everyone loves
on
him.
the circuit
Yes.
this year.
Yes.
Just charming. Work in the room.
Yeah.
Everybody loves him.
Everybody loves him.
So I guess if there's going to be one tiebreaker for me, I've just heard that he has just charmed
And that
everyone.
maybe Tarantino's not charming?
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
I don't know. I mean,
For what it's worth, charming the voters.
That's right.
I mean, it'll be interesting. You know, it was the first time in SAG Award history where they go with the cast ensemble, which is their version of Best Picture.
Right.
And that was the big shocker.
Yes.
That Parasite
It was.
one.
Yeah.
And then everybody was talking about Roma when Netflix came out with Roma, that Roma might have a chance to sneak in there and get Best Picture. That hasn't happened yet, has it?
It has
It's
not.
not
It
ever
has not
happened.
happened where a foreign film wins Best Foreign Film, but also wins Best Picture.
Never.
It has not.
And you don't think it'll happen this year either? I mean, when we get to Best Picture, we'll talk about it. But that'll be a little teaser. Let's get into the. Let's just stay on point here because Laura Dern is one of the nominations for Best Supporting Actress. Kathy Bates and Richard Jewell, which I did not see.
She's probably the best thing about the movie. The movie has some serious problems, but the relationship between Richard Jewell and his mother is great, and she's fantastic.
She's always fantastic.
She is.
Kathy Bates is just
Kathy Bates.
magical all the time.
Yep.
Laura Dern, who was so wonderfully manipulative and evil in marriage, I loved her and I hated her.
Sure.
You know, there was like, wow, that's the attorney you want, and like, wow, that's the attorney you got. I mean, she was magnificent, and her performance snuck up on me.
And she was so cutthroat, but then at the flip of a switch, ordering everybody sandwiches.
Right.
And then she and Ray Liotta were just old buds. Where are we going to go later after? We hope to see you at the club or whatever.
Yeah.
And then just cutthroat, bloodthirsty. You know, when they're getting into the battle of the divorce courts.
Yeah, when they're in the courtroom together, when Ray and Laura Dern are in the courtroom together, it's them. It's not even even about the other two people anymore. It's them doing they're battling. But she was so
great.
Good. Like when she first came on screen, I'm like, okay, everybody's been talking about this performance. Like, okay, okay, and then it's just continued to build. And then when she, I don't want to spoil it, but when she's talking about,
if you haven't seen it by now, listen to this podcast.
Yeah, it's true. When she's talking about, I got you the 55 as opposed to the 45, and I didn't ask for that. She goes, that whole thing about just a personal thing.
Yeah.
I didn't want them to win.
Yep.
With them, it's not even about them. It's about the
Right.
lawyers. But she's the winner. Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. We should mention the other: Kathy Bates, Laura Dern, Scarlett Johansson for Jojo Rabbit, Florence. How do you say her last name? Pugh for Little Women, and Margot Robbie for Bombshell.
I think Margot Robbie only because I just saw it the other day. I'm affected, so.
I wasn't that crazy about the movie Bombshell as a whole.
Yeah, it was
fine.
It was fine. I think if it was up to me, I would probably have J-Lo in there in place of Margot
definitely.
Robbie.
Yeah.
J-Lo for Hustlers, and
Yes.
she was great.
She was.
She got dissed.
I think so.
Yeah, she get that. That was definitely a snub.
Yeah, I think so. But I think Laura Dern not only should win this, but will.
Yeah, I am really happy to see Scarlett Johansson in there, though, for Jojo Rabbit, because I thought she was just amazing. I love that movie so much, and I thought that she was really amazing in it. But
I wonder if she didn't have a lot of screen time. I don't know if that would have hurt the chances or not.
Dame Judi Dench. That's all I got to say. How many minutes did she have and she won?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think it's Laura Dern's year.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And rightfully so. I thought, as you said, she's magnificent in that film.
Do you think when an actress or an actor like Laura Dern has an Oscar-nominated performance like this, but then also, as you mentioned her in Little Women, also has a body of other work over the course of the year that's very complimentary, and that, do you think that helps?
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting you say that because, of course, Scarlett Johansson is also nominated for Best Actress.
Right.
Right. And Florence Pugh was in the conversation anyway for Best Actress because of Midsommar. She's magnificent in Midsommar. So really, this whole category is just stacked with people who had a killer year. Not an Adam Driver year, but otherwise a killer year.
Well, and let's not kid ourselves. I mean, as much as we love this stuff and love to talk about it, let's not pretend that it's a meritocracy.
No.
It's not.
No.
All sorts of things go into voting when it gets down to who's voting for who and why. There could be a million things. That could be part of it, that she's had a great year, or that her body of work, and she has been an actress since childhood. All sorts of things go into it, and but I do think she's deserving.
Oh yeah,
for sure. But I think that could certainly help. Yeah.
So will win and should win.
Yeah.
Laura Dern.
I think so.
All right,
Yeah.
that one's
Yeah.
solid.
We're
No
agreed
splits
on
on
that.
that one.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Supporting actor. Tom Hanks in Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, Mr. Rogers. Anthony Hopkins, Two Popes. Of course, Al Pacino, The Irishman. Joe Pesci, The Irishman, who was my favorite part of that movie. And the awards darling this year, Brad Pitt, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Did you just see today? He showed up at the luncheon wearing a name tag.
A name tag. I
did
did
you see that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet.
He owns the circuit. Brad
He
Pitt.
does.
And
the
oh my God.
acceptance speeches.
Are you kidding me? Both
have
the
been great.
SAG and the Golden Globe acceptance speeches have been crazy. I agree with you though. Pesci was so just mesmerizing in The Irishman. I couldn't get over it, and he was playing so against type. Pacino was great, but
Pacino was great, too.
He was playing to type.
Right.
You know, Pesci, it was just so fun to see him play such a different character. And I'm the most upset that Willem Dafoe isn't nominated because I think he ought to win, which would be really hard because he didn't get
Yeah,
nominated.
that is tough.
For
That'd be a
Lighthouse?
surprise.
For Lighthouse.
For the Lighthouse.
Yeah.
That's right.
I agree
Why'd
with
you
you.
spill your beans?
I've heard a lot of people say that was one that should have been in the mix.
I probably would have moved out Anthony Hopkins.
for sure. Yeah.
For Willem Dafoe, because you're right, he was just mesmerizing.
Oh, he was so great.
The Lighthouse is not the kind of a film that is going to be well loved by the.
No, we were so happy
Oscar
it got nominated
voters.
for cinematography because we
Just-
figured it would get ignored entirely, but
But it's so great.
Yeah,
and,
it's so
and he's
great.
fantastic
He
in it.
is.
And I love Joe Pesci too, but Al Pacino too was fantastic.
He was.
I thought he was going in some places he hasn't gone for a while. But
they're going to split the vote.
I know that's the tough thing about it.
Yeah, and Brad Pitt
Yeah.
hasn't won one. And as you say, I mean, he is a movie star. He's
He
a
is a
movie
movie-
star.
He's a
you
movie
know,
star
and he's
star, yeah.
proving that he's an actor. He has now been proving that for probably the last 10 years.
Right.
But he's a movie star.
I'm feeling Brad Pitt.
Yeah, I think he's definitely
Yeah, I
going to
think
win.
he's going to win.
He was excessively charming from start to finish in this movie. From every little bit of business he did, you know, he made you laugh, and you know.
And he may have been the one cast member that didn't show his bare feet in this movie.
You know, he did.
Did he?
He did show his bare feet.
I know
They
he had
took
the
his
big
shirt off.
shirtless. I
Yeah,
know
he
that,
did.
but okay.
Yeah, yep, he did. And it's funny. So I'm actually a big fan of Brad Pitt as an actor. I mean, also as a very pretty person. But I mean, he's very talented. He really is, and he's great in this movie. And he was great in Ad Astra this year. And but that character is the most problematic character in the entire film. In a film in which Charles Manson is a character,
Oh,
Yeah.
Brad Pitt's character is the most problematic in the film, and it's a little troubling, I think. But you know, you can't take that away from his performance. His performance was great.
and right now he seems to have all the momentum.
Oh, definitely.
All the momentum.
Yeah, no question about it.
But
You agree, Johnny?
Oh yeah, I totally
You
agree.
going with Brad Pitt?
Oh, I love the sequence when he realizes how he's going to take out the people at the end of the movie. With he just throws that. What was it? What was a ball? What was it? It was some kind of a decorative marble glass thing, right? Oh my god!
yeah, well, and then when it gets the dog involved.
Oh
Yeah.
my god!
That dog deserves an award.
Yeah, I know.
Actually,
right?
my favorite.
She was just great. I
She was
love that
great.
dog so much.
My favorite sequence in the film is at the Manson
Oh my
Ranch
God, yes.
when he is going back to meet to
Oh.
find. You thought sure there was such a buildup of tension in that movie. You thought sure something really nasty was going to happen,
Right.
and it really made me wonder. I really want to see Tarantino do a straight up horror film.
Oh, yeah.
After watching that
So
sequence,
much.
I love that entire.
You know,
sequence.
that's the thing. You know, Tarantino, one of the things that I love about that movie is that basically every scene is a completely different directorial style because that's a horror
He does
film,
that all the time,
You know,
yeah.
and then
Because he
you-
rips everybody off.
Yeah, he does. You know,
It's
but
an
he always
homage,
has. But he always
John.
has. I mean,
Okay.
he's pretty
Okay.
open about it. You
I know
know,
he is.
not as open as Todd Phillips is, but he's pretty open about it. But I did. I mean, I thought that movie was enjoyable, and I thought it was really
Yeah.
very like a fun directorial film.
Good. I enjoyed that. I love all his movies, some more than others, but I really enjoyed this one. Plus, I like that era of Hollywood too. So sometimes I think it was speaking to me. You know, it was that transition from the '60s into the '70s, and you know, I also love what we're getting into the director part of this thing, but I also love what he did with the television stuff. You know,
yes,
and
yes.
and I know Leo DiCaprio is nominated as well, but he had some great moments in there
Oh
too.
God, he
that-
did.
that
He was
And
so
the little
great.
girl,
The little girl.
was so
killed
good.
me.
I can watch that scene over and over
know.
again. Yeah.
Really, everybody, and even Luke Perry.
Yeah, Luke Perry.
Yeah.
You know, for the little bit of time he had was good.
Yeah.
So even though I saw The Irishman before I saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I loved Joe Pesci, my heart ached when they were in prison and he couldn't chew the bread because of the teeth. I'm like, that broke my heart a little bit. I mean, and I like, you know, I know Joe Pesci isn't. They're all old.
Oh yeah.
They're all old, but The Irishman has not been winning per se as a lot of people thought initially that it would when it came out. And why do you think that is? Do you think is it because there's a question I have. There's an interesting thing I noticed on the Golden Globes. And granted, it's the Hollywood Foreign Press, but it seemed like if a movie that was nominated that streamed, even though it had a theatrical release, it was still a Netflix movie. It seemed like the Netflix movies for the Hollywood Foreign Press and the Golden Globes didn't get as much love as anything that was actually screened in the cinema, per se. I seem to maybe it was just coincidence.
No, that may be. I think that every year that bias kind of wears away a little bit more. The first year it was the Beast of No Nation, which should have been nominated for everything and got nothing. 0 nominated for no things. Outside of the Independent Spirit Awards. So, but then, last year Roma got nominated for
Mudbound
everything.
had some, and it actually had one. Mary J. Blige won for that. So it is
it
breaking
is,
down.
I think that is wearing away. I mean, The Two Popes is a Netflix film, and it got nominated for all manner of stuff and has no business being nominated for anything. So I think at least the Academy voters are cool with Netflix.
Okay, so maybe things will take a turn. Maybe, but we go back to Brad Pitt winning it. Should win, will win.
Yeah,
should win.
Should win. Let me look again.
I think Pesci should win.
I think Pesci should win.
I think Willem Dafoe should win, but again, that doesn't seem
Once
likely.
again, he's not nominated.
So, I think
Brad
Pesci should. I'm not gonna. I mean, I wouldn't begrudge Brad Pitt an Oscar.
No, I wouldn't
And
either.
I think he's going to win, but he wouldn't be my choice.
Yeah,
If you're
I would probably
casting your vote for your Oscar pool and you want to win the Oscar pool.
Oh, Pitt. Oh
Brad
my God,
Pitt.
yes.
Yeah. I would spy an eyelash probably go Al Pacino over Joe Pesci, but just by. I mean, they're both great.
They are both great.
They're both great. But yeah, Pitt is
De
going to
Niro
win.
gets nothing.
Right. That really surprised me. It really did. I thought he was a lock for a nomination.
Oh, so now we get into the Best Actor and Actress category, starting with Best Actress. And aside from, I can never say her first name correctly.
Saoirse?
Yeah, Saoirse Ronan. I did see everybody else in that category. Thanks to you guys lending me your copy of Judy. Renee Zellweger for Judy. Charlize Theron for Bombshell. Say it again.
Saoirse Ronan?
Why can't I say her name?
Saoirse.
Then she should spell it that way. Little Women. Scarlett Johansson for incredible, and a lady who I can't wait to see playing Aretha Franklin. Cynthia Erivo for Harriet. Who wins the award? Who will win? Who should win?
She's not playing Aretha Franklin.
Jennifer
Hudson's playing
Aretha.
She's in the. I thought she was in the movie Aretha.
I don't know. I only
She
know
may be, but
she
I'm
might
pretty
be.
sure
That's the
Jennifer-
one
It's
Mark
definitely
Maron's in,
Jennifer
right? Mark
Hudson.
Maron's in that film, and I think it's.
The only thing I know. Literally,
Where did I come
that's
up?
it.
when-
All I
when-
know is the Jennifer Hudson plays Aretha
Who am I
Franklin.
thinking of?
Yeah.
Cynthia
the
Erivo's
trailer.
in something that's coming up. That's about a real person. It wasn't Aretha
Well,
Franklin.
she might be in that. I don't know.
Well, the movie she's nominated for is
Was it
Harriet.
by Harriet? Yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure Jennifer Hudson is playing in the upcoming Aretha
she
Franklin.
is. She's the only person in the trailer.
Yeah,
so
okay.
that's why I don't know who else is in
Who
it
am I
because nobody else
what
is in
am
the
I
trailer.
thinking? All right, Hansberry's gonna look at ERVO. Cynthia Erivo. What's she?
Erivo. E-R-I-V-O.
ERIV. Well, that's my bad handwriting. Yes, it is. All right. Regardless, who wins?
Renee
Yeah.
Zellweger.
Renee. It's
I think
gotta
so.
be right.
Yeah.
Will win. Should win. Movie on the whole. Judy.
I think the parts that weren't flashbacks to Judy Garland as a child were solid.
Yeah.
The flashback parts for me brought the film down.
Yeah.
But of course, obviously, she's not in those scenes
No.
of Judy Garland as a child. She is incredible, just mesmerizing.
Yeah, she
and
really is.
it's a film that it came out a little earlier in the year, so you're not gonna have any recency bias here. But I think she still is going to hang on and win. I actually think there were a couple surprising. Well, maybe not surprising, but snubs. I think we both
Well,
thought.
Aquafina, I think people really thought she was in
Yeah,
the
that's true,
running
in
to
the-
get
for
a
the Farewell.
nomination, Aquafina, for
Yeah.
the Farewell. And then Lupita Nyong'o actually won a lot of the awards coming up to this for us.
For really playing two characters.
Yeah, and
Right.
she was
I think
amazing,
both,
as she always is.
Both of them should have been nominated. We would
So
probably
who should have gotten
Probably-
knocked off the list to accommodate?
probably Charlize Theron, who
Yeah.
I love. She's great, but Bombshell. I mean, it was an incredible transformation.
Sure.
Not only the prosthetics, but the voice. But I would probably drop her out along with Cynthia for Harriet, although she was good too.
Yeah.
But
we've
I
been
had my
saying
druthers.
we had been saying since not even the halfway mark of the year that lead actress was going to be the most difficult category this year, and every year it's
tough.
lead actor.
Lead actor and actress
Yeah.
both tough this year.
Yeah.
But Lupita, we'd put Lupita and
Yeah, we
Awkwafina
would
both
put-
in there if
we
it was
would.
up. But
If it was up
they
to
didn't
you
make
guys.
it. But still, I think we
So-
both think Renee Zellweger is going to win. and
Yeah.
she'll
I mean,
win.
she did it. She channeled
She really did.
Lady Judy from
She
the,
really did.
And
Yeah.
it- you know-
with the facial tics. And,
But it doesn't feel like an impersonation.
No,
Right.
no. It feels like she embodied
Yeah.
the spirit of Judy.
And she does her
Garland.
own singing.
That's amazing too. Yes, does her own singing as
Yeah.
well. I thought she was pretty incredible. I thought the movie on the whole was okay.
Yeah, we thought so,
but
too.
Agreed.
She was, and once again, it's. I don't want to take away from how wonderful she was in the performance, but once again, it's one of these. It seems like if you make that transformation, if you make
Yes.
that extreme, if you
Yep.
completely
They win a lot.
transform, they win.
Yeah.
You talk about Charlize Theron. Remember when she won her Oscar?
Yeah,
the
for
transformation
Monster.
for
Uh-huh.
Monster
Yeah,
that she
yeah.
went through.
Well, not only that, but Oscar voters love real. I mean, almost every year somebody plays a real life person. Now, of course, Cynthia Erivo also plays a real life person. Well, so does Charlize Theron.
But a
They
real
all-
life Hollywood person.
Right. That's. I
Yeah.
mean, the more Hollywood kind of the better.
Yeah.
Katharine Hepburn either won for being Katharine Hepburn or people win for playing Katharine Hepburn. I mean, it's just people. That's who they vote for,
Yeah.
and so plus
When Kate Blanchett won for
Yeah.
The Aviator.
Yeah.
For playing. Yeah.
So real quick, you're both right. Cynthia Erivo is playing Aretha Franklin in a National Geographic TV series.
Okay.
Well,
Didn't know
drinks
that.
all around.
That's
We're all
right.
Thanks
right.
all around. We're all
Okay.
correct. We're all correct.
So did Zellweger win the actor and the Golden Globe?
she won the Golden Globe.
Yes.
She
And she won the SAG.
She won the
The
SAG
SAG,
award.
the actor.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
She won the SAG award and the
So
Golden Globe.
would that cancel out the Oscar? I'm just putting it out there because I don't have a big opinion because I haven't seen all these films, but I thought Scarlett Johansson was pretty fucking solid.
She was great.
She was incredible.
She was great.
But
I
when it
mean-
comes down to the overlap in the voting pool between SAG and the Academy
Yeah.
is massive. It's
Right.
massive, and it's
The-
the
the
number one
overlap?
predictor of the acting categories. Is the SAG win is the number one predictor.
It is.
Yes. Not for
And-
Best Picture. There's
No,
often
'cause
not
the
the same
voting's
thing.
different,
Because
yeah.
you sort of guess that it's going to be an ensemble, but maybe it isn't. And also the way the Academy votes for picture is different than the way they vote for anything else. So it's a lot
Could
harder
you
to
could you
predict.
refresh? We've discussed this on previous podcasts how that voting works. I've always thought it was people in a certain category vote for people in that category, but then everybody gets to vote on.
So that's how it is. That is correct.
Actors
so
vote for actors.
writers
Right.
vote for writers, and then the entire Academy. So that's who gets on the ballot, right? Is
Right.
whoever the directors chose that make the director ballot, and then everybody votes who wins the final prize, except for Best Picture.
Everybody.
Then it's
So
just so
it's-
convoluted.
Best Picture, you vote on more than once. So everybody votes for. There are 9, so everybody votes for those 9, and
Preferential
then,
ballot.
and then
Whittles down to
right,
the
and then
mushy
whoever
middle.
got the least votes, they get knocked off, and you vote again. So what ends up happening is whoever won the first vote doesn't necessarily win. Basically, what almost always happens is everybody's number 3 wins. Like let's say the Joker gets knocked off in the first ballot. It's the least number of votes, for example. Well, that person, those people aren't then going to go, oh, I got to vote for something else. I think I'll choose Little Women. That's not going to happen. Everybody chooses their number 2 or their number 3, and that's why I hate it. But that's really why kind of you get just the most likable film wins Best Picture every year.
Do you guys going back? We've addressed this before. Do you like 9? They said they can nominate up to 10. Can't they?
yeah, but from what I read, I don't understand it because math is not my strong suit.
There's a threshold.
But from what I read, it's almost even though you can have 10, it's all their algorithm makes it almost impossible to get 10.
By virtue of the number of people in the Academy and the threshold a film has to reach before it can be part of the final group,
Right.
it's almost impossible for that to divide into 10.
Do you like the larger field?
I do.
Do you like
I wish
the
they
larger
would just
field?
make it 10. To be honest.
I think it's a money grab, but that's fine. We can have 10. That's fine.
I mean, didn't this whole thing start because of The Dark Knight?
I think it started to try to get more blockbuster films in there to get better ratings for the show, which I'm not wild about that as a motivational factor, but to acknowledge 10 great films, sure, why not? Let's just make it 10.
I don't have any problem at all with the larger field of of contenders. I hate the voting process. I hate that it's just not the winner goes to whoever got the most vote the first time it went around. I don't know why they have to muddy it up by going, oh, well, yours didn't get it, so vote a second time.
That's kind of weird. It is a weird process.
We're the country of the Electoral College, so.
That's right.
Nice.
Well said.
We're a bunch of assholes.
So Renee Zellweger should win, will win, Best Actress.
But you know what? Before we just a shout out to Saoirse Ronan, because she's 24 years old. She's been nominated.
This is her fifth nomination or fourth? This is her fourth or fifth nomination.
She's incredible. I think I break my arm, pat myself in the back here, but I think I said when I saw her in Atonement that she was a future Oscar winner, and she's going to be. She just keeps getting nominated because she deserves it.
If she doesn't get a Lifetime Achievement Award first.
Exactly right.
At age 27.
But she's fantastic, but I don't think she's going to win.
No.
Best Actor. I did not see Antonio Banderas in Pain and Glory.
Did not.
Hope
he was very good.
Hope quietly with her eyes chastised me before the podcast before the podcast began. Leonardo DiCaprio for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Adam Driver, Marriage Story. Joaquin Phoenix, the favorite with Joker, and then Jonathan Pryce for Two Popes. Who shouldn't be on the list?
Yeah, he's great. He's very good.
I'm not saying. I'm asking who shouldn't be.
Oh, Jonathan Pryce.
He shouldn't be.
I didn't mean to make that a statement.
I'm
sorry, I meant to make a question.
That was Sandler.
Very confusing.
To be honest, if it was me, I probably wouldn't have DiCaprio on here either.
You'd have De Niro.
I'd have De Niro.
I would keep DiCaprio over De Niro, but I would have Sandler in.
And Adam Sandler for Uncut Gems is an incredible snub. He was fantastic.
Oh God, he was so good.
But what's the man got to do?
Well, you know what? I don't know if you guys saw this. I just saw it a couple of days ago, or I forget the publication that had it. Anyway, they had an interview with an anonymous Oscar voter, asking these questions. And
anonymous.
the reason that this anonymous voter gave for Adam Sandler,
for J-Lo.
And for J-Lo both. They just didn't seem like Oscar. You think of Adam Sandler, you don't think Oscar. You think of Jonathan Pryce, you think Oscar.
What the hell does that mean?
Exactly. See, that's what I'm talking about when I say
Idiocy.
it's not a meritocracy. That's
snobs.
Exactly. I mean, just watch and judge the
It's
performance.
not just snobs; it's old people.
Yeah.
It's old people.
Sandler was fantastic, very, very deserving.
Yeah.
Are they just so like holding on to old Hollywood and what a movie star is and an actor is?
When I think of John Whitney, director, I don't think Oscar. I think Cotton Gin.
Exactly. A very well-run cotton gin.
We all know Sandler has made a ton of horrible movies, but you can't hold that against him for being fantastic. I mean, he's been good before.
Yeah, Punch Drunk Love. He was incredible.
Drunk Love,
Right,
He was
Spanglish.
perfect.
Waterboy.
Well, see, that's what happens.
People, yeah.
That's
was
what
good
happens
in
in a
front of
conversation
people,
with
yeah.
Sandler. You start talking about all his brilliant acting in Punch Drunk Love and Spanglish, and then somebody else say Waterboy.
Yeah, you can't help it.
Happy Gilmore.
Oh,
It just comes out.
You can't help it.
But
Yeah.
he deserves to be in this category.
Yes, he does.
But he's not.
No.
So
everybody's been pointing towards Joaquin Phoenix. Is that the will win, should win
I think so.
of the night?
I do think so.
I think so. I mean,
there's usually a single upset somewhere, and I think if there is going to be an upset, I think it's a very, very slight chance. But I think Banderas has a slight chance of being that. He's never had one before. He won at Cannes. He's won a lot coming into this. And there's I don't think it's likely. I think that Joaquin Phoenix ought to have about 30 Oscars by now, and this he ought to get one for this performance.
Do you think there was an issue with some of the people who are pushing back on his performance because of him playing somebody with mental illness? And a lot of people were like, kind of like,
why would they push? Why are you pushing back? Why?
Because some people think that it's a bad portrayal of anybody with those kinds of
issues,
mental illness. Yeah. Some people are talking about, some people.
Some people say.
No, it is true. I mean, I think people are a lot more aware of when a film presents somebody with mental illness as necessarily somebody who is about to go postal. Which,
okay.
you know,
I get that
and,
part
you know,
of it.
And here's, I really enjoyed the film Joker.
I did too.
Yeah.
Because I love Taxi Driver, and that's what it is.
It's
Taxi Driver with grease
Driver.
paint.
I said that in
And
the
that's
theater.
why
I go,
it
"This is
shouldn't
Taxi-
get nominated
this is Taxi
for
Driver."
director, and it shouldn't get nominated for screenplay. But you can't take anything away from Joaquin Phoenix's performance. He's amazing.
It is totally. I said that while I was watching it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is.
Oh, yeah,
Taxi
it's-
Driver all
it's-
over
And
again.
King of Comedy.
Yeah,
I
it takes
definitely
a
saw some
quick
King of
left
Comedy.
turn
yeah.
into King of Comedy a couple of
yeah,
times.
yeah, yeah.
Well,
But you know
Scorsese
what?
was involved with I guess producing it early on. Correct? He was involved
Well, and
in the
De Niro was
development.
in it,
Yeah.
so I mean, you know, it's not like Phillips doesn't embrace the fact that
No.
this is just a Scorsese fanboy film.
Oh yeah, it's
it
definitely
just-
informed by Scorsese world. you know.
Yeah.
You mentioned not an Adam Driver kind of year in an
What a
earlier
year he's
conversation.
Good Lord.
But once again, if Joaquin Phoenix wasn't in this mix, and you said Antonio Banderas would sneak in, that guy once again.
Oh, Adam Driver.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree with you. His performance was just incredible, and it really puts the capper on his year. I mean, sure, one of them was Star Wars, and say what you want about the new Star Wars. I enjoyed it.
Oh, but he's great.
He's
He's
great.
so good. Kylo Ren is so great.
And then if you go back to a movie that nobody saw that we liked a lot, The Dead Don't Die.
Ghouls.
Yeah, it was
Oh my
part
God,
of this
he's
year. He's
just
so
deadpan
versatile.
hilarious in that movie. And then The Report.
And The Report, yeah,
Which
which
was another
no
one
one
that
saw.
shouldn't have been as good as it was, and the reason that it was as good was because of him,
He's
because of his performance.
incredibly versatile.
Yeah,
he
he
really is. And Marriage Story is just a great performance.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, once
He won't
again,
win, though.
I loved and hated both characters
Yeah.
at various times throughout the film. I'm like, God, he's kind of a dick. Well,
Oh, yeah.
he's not really.
He
not
just
bad. He's not
refuses-
much of a dick, but then she's getting the raw end of the stick. She's kind of a bitch. No, she's not really a bitch.
Yeah.
And
But you still don't, even though as you watch his character and you see he's not realizing what's right in front of his
No.
face, but you don't hate him.
No,
you still
you
don't
don't.
hate him. He finds the humanity in that character, and that's what he does with really all of his characters.
Yeah, with all of his characters.
He
I
really
mean,
he's great.
Yeah,
he really is.
He's great in everything.
And he did a fine job hosting SNL. The
oh
other
my
night.
God, oh my God, Undercover Boss. Where are they now? I laughed my ass off. Yeah, so good. And you know, you talk about what you just said, how he commits to a character and finds whatever is in that character. He did the same thing on SNL.
Yeah.
There's so many people that guest host that show that walk through it.
Just phone it in.
Phone it in. He did not.
No.
I mean, he was. That's the one thing that stood out in that particular installment of SNL was Adam Driver in it,
Yeah.
in the moment, and everything he did in the film pieces and in the
and medieval
everything. He
medieval
was-
dinner thing.
he was-
I've been to medieval times, so I can see that.
It was one of the best episodes I've seen so far this season.
And just think about,
yeah.
yeah, that was funny.
You don't see people. Oscar winners suck at monologues.
Yeah.
He did good.
Yeah, he was great.
Think about that last scene in Marriage Story when he's singing. Think about how off the rails and self-indulgent that could have gone.
That could have gone.
And it didn't.
No.
That is such a statement on how he handled that character.
And also, I'm glad that's not where it ended, because that would have like, oh, don't end it like this, and then thank God they didn't, you know.
Yeah.
But
Right.
but you're right. I'm like, what is he doing? Oh my God.
But he's won. You know, I mean, he was nominated the first time last year for the Black Klansman, and just like Saoirse Ronan, he will win.
Oh, he
Eventually,
will.
he's
Yeah.
going to win an
He will.
Oscar.
Yeah, if he doesn't get a Lifetime Achievement Award first. Okay, so we're all in agreement that it's Joaquin's year.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
I think so.
Yeah.
Nobody gets away.
I think his performance, because you believe that he was Joker. You actually believe that he had mental issues, and he buried himself in that character, and it was just a great performance. So, yeah, I agree with you guys. He's going to win.
And I also think because you know, he did things that were unexpected. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you didn't like when he kissed that little man, and when he backed into his refrigerator.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he did things. It didn't feel like a gimmicky, I'm a psychopath. You know, he seemed like he found a human soul.
I guess he did that in the moment when he went into the refrigerator.
Yeah, I read that too.
So I like that kind of stuff.
I
That's
do
nice.
too.
He's
That's nice.
And it's
Really,
it's
really good.
and it also made me forget that it was a comic book movie. You know,
Because it was Taxi Driver.
Yeah, it was because it was Taxi Driver. The whole descent of the, you're right. The whole descent
I
of the
always love
madness.
Travis Bickle
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Except Travis ends up a hero and
Right.
and gets his job back.
We've had that conversation.
We have had a conversation. We'll go scene by scene about how this is Taxi Driver. So it's,
No, I
No,
told
I mean, just about
yeah, Travis
talk
Bickle.
about
yeah.
Travis Bickle.
Yeah.
That's for another day.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
but I totally agree with the comparison. All right, we're good. Is this going to be the year, another year, where we have an Academy Award for Best Director and a different Academy Award for the Best Picture? Let's go through Best Director.
I don't think so this year.
Martin
I don't either.
Scorsese, Irishman. Todd Phillips, The Joker. Sam Mendes, 1917. Quentin, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Parasite. And am I missing anything?
Nope,
That's
that's
it.
it.
That's it. And Bong
Joon-ho.
Joon-ho.
We definitely think Greta Gerwig should be taking the place here of Todd Phillips.
Yeah, there's no question
for
about it.
sure. That is a big snub.
And again, it's not like because we need to get a woman in there. I'm
No,
sorry.
no.
It's because it's a far more beautifully directed film. Todd Phillips. Again, I'm not knocking Joker. We enjoyed it. The problems we had with the film were directorial decisions. So if there comes a time where there's a reveal in Joker, and if the filmmaker had any faith in the audience, he wouldn't have felt the need to take you back to show you the scenes where you misjudged what was happening.
Right,
And
right.
he I knew it was. I was kind
We're
of
like,
I sat in
oh.
the audience. Please don't do it. Please don't do it. Please. And he did
Right.
it. And I
And
thought,
he did it.
"Ah,
Oh, those people weren't there.
oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, and then, there are other, obviously, the other thing, again, it's not really a knock on the film, but it certainly makes you question, I don't know, how great a director he is when what he did was made a Scorsese movie. That's what he set out to do. He accomplished it. But then you go, right, but you know who else is nominated today? You don't get to be here.
And one of the quick things you can say now that there are multiple, there are more than 5 Best Picture nominees. When a Best Picture gets nominated and that picture's director doesn't get nominated, the quickest thing, the quickest hot take in our hot take society is always, well, how can it be a Best Picture and not get a Best Director? Well, because there are more nominees. But in this case, you can say, well, it's a better job. It's not that we have a quota system where there has to be a woman in there. Not at all. It's that the woman's job.
She did a superior job.
Was superior.
Yeah, she did a
Exactly
superior
right.
job. She did as a writer. She just brought a fantastic new take to this warhorse of a story. But just as a director as well, where she focused things, the way one scene leads into another, the way she can jump back and forth in time without ever sort of rattling you, but at the same, it flows so well.
But also, jumping on what you just said about Joker, but trusting you to keep up.
Yes, she does.
She's not spoon feeding
Nope.
anybody. Like, yeah, come on, you're with me
Yeah.
here, aren't you?
Yeah.
And which I thought it was just a much better job. She should be in.
So it's a snub, not because we needed a woman in there. It's a
No.
snub because she's just a damn fine director.
Exactly
Period.
She's
right.
better than several of the people in the category.
Several.
Yes.
Several.
At
All
least
right.
one.
At least one. So who's the other one? That should not be there. You said
No.
several.
I don't. If I only have a snub, I only need to replace one person. With her.
Yeah.
and there's a clear low hanging
Yeah,
fruit
there
in
is.
this
Okay, all right,
category.
all right. Well, I heard you say several that shouldn't be on the list. That maybe there's another one that should not be there. I heard that too. I don't know.
I didn't say that they shouldn't be on the list. I said she was better than several.
She was
of the
better
people
than
on
some
the
of them.
list. Yeah.
All right, so she should take the place of Todd Phillips.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that Joker has hung in there, as far considering when it came out and
Oh, yeah.
as far as mattering, for lack of a better
Oh,
word.
of course it
to
made
be in
a
the best picture
zillion
category.
dollars.
Yeah.
It made literally $1 billion.
Does it take? So is this a step in the right direction for the comic book movies, as it were, or is it to get more respect? Because like I told you, I said it didn't feel like a comic book movie to me. It felt like Taxi Driver. But yeah, does that help the genre?
I like any time.
Should a Marvel movie have been in the mix in the top 10?
No.
No?
I mean, I enjoyed them. I enjoyed all the most of the Marvel movies this year, but I don't think it should have been in the mix. No. But I always like anytime someone wants to reimagine something. Doesn't always work.
Right.
It did for Little Women.
Yeah.
It did for this Joker. I don't know whether it should or become going to reimagine the dark side of Spider-Man or something to this dark. But I did appreciate it.
Okay, so we still haven't picked who's winning the Oscar for Best Director.
right now we think all the momentum is going for Sam Mendes.
Oh, yeah.
1917.
I agree.
And it was an incredible job. Loved that movie so much. We still would probably give it to
Bong
Bong
Joon-ho.
Joon-ho.
Yeah.
But Sam Mendes, for me, is right there.
Oh, yeah.
What a job of directing that movie was, 1917.
He did a great job of
Think about
directing
it, yeah.
Go ahead, Johnny.
I'm saying the thing about it is
this is Johnny. John Whitney's the director, so
when
I
you
really
talk,
want to hear
when
what
you
you
talk
have to
about
say.
Sam Mendes, he did a great job, and I think it was just a tour de force of execution of this
Yes.
film.
Yes.
And if you could give a co-directing, Roger Deakins
Oh my God, yes.
could have not made this film without Roger Deakins.
Exactly.
And how they figured out how to actually, there's probably like 15 cuts in the movie.
Which
You know what I
is
mean?
nominal
But-
considering it's still
Oh, yeah.
to the
Just the
untrained eye.
execution of the film.
It
Exactly.
looks like one
It
consistent.
really does.
Well, you know,
But the thing that I thought was amazing was anytime you go into a movie where you hear it looks like one take, your brain immediately goes, I'm going to spot the takes.
Right.
For me, I forgot about that in
I did
about
too.
5 minutes.
I did too.
And
Because
I
you're
was
so
sucked
absorbed in what was
into the
happening.
story.
And the other thing is that, going into it, we'd heard a lot about this gimmicky. The thing is that it really isn't. It really does serve the narrative beautifully because you feel like you are running with these two boys. You're like it really feeds the urgency of the story, and it's a really simple story, especially for a war film.
That's why I
And-
didn't think it could win for screenplay, because I thought it was just like, it's not really that much.
But
or
I
the
think you
execution of it.
hit on the exact word, execution. The way this movie is executed is just remarkable.
It's breathless.
And
No,
and,
it's
and
just- it's
agree,
beautiful.
totally agree on Roger
It is.
Deakins. Yeah.
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 I mean, he's going to win best cinematography.
He
These
is,
kids
yeah.
cannot. It's not full.
for those of you who question your best cinematography category, not to know, Roger Deakins, is he nominated?
Oh, yes.
He's
Oh, yes.
nominated. He's
He will
nominated.
win.
Oh,
He
yeah.
will win. He will win. There you go. We're helping you narrow down some of the other lesser categories that always. We're not going to help you on best sound
I
editing.
mean, there was like 16 assistant directors on that film. 16, dude. That's how big the scope of
Oh,
that
yeah.
film was.
It's just
incredible.
So if there's, I'm going to be an ass right now. So if there's 16 assistant directors, why should he win for best director if he had 16 guys helping him?
But they got to direct the background. Man. That's how huge that movie was, man.
It's funny. A lot of people are saying that that the Academy is like, thumbing its nose at Christopher Nolan and Dunkirk by giving everything to Sam Mendes and 1917.
Oh, interesting.
Because the
interesting.
one was such an ensemble piece, and there was so much going on, and it was very not a streamlined story, and then the other is such a streamlined story. But I love both of those movies so much, and I think that they make glorious bookends. One World War I, one World War II.
I agree. But
So we get down to best. So Sam Mendes.
Yes.
Sam
Yes.
Mendes.
wins for best director, which brings us to best picture. Will the best director win best picture? I like 1917, but I don't know if it's my pick for best picture. I mean, based on what I enjoyed and affected me.
Yeah.
As far as
No, I think
yeah.
we
Well, what would
agree.
you say? Would you go with Marriage Story? Because you talk a lot about Marriage Story.
Well,
right now.
that's stuck in my head. No. Marriage Story affected me for the subject matter and the performances and so forth. For the best picture overall, no. I honestly, I really loved. I was one of the not one to say a few people, but a lot of people that I talked to didn't care for The Irishman because of the length, and they didn't think it wasn't The Godfather. These are my idiot friends that I'm talking to when I'm talking film. But
Well, one quick thing about The Irishman, I think it's on Netflix, which lets more people see it, but it also lets you pause it and go to the bathroom and do
Right.
whatever. I think The Irishman is a movie that has to be experienced start to finish. Do not stop it.
do not stop it.
Don't.
I didn't stop it.
That-
I didn't stop it.
It took about 30, 40 minutes to get me, and once it had me, I wasn't going anywhere. And I think the people that watch it, oh, yeah, I stopped. I'll get back to it tomorrow. No, it's an
You can't do that.
experience.
You can't do that.
I know it's almost 4 hours long. I get it. But you really have to, I think you have to experience it start to finish.
We have 1917, Ford versus Ferrari, Joker, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Parasite, The Irishman, Little Women, Jojo Rabbit, Marriage Story. Johnny, we'll start with you. Best picture of the year. And I know you didn't see them all, but you saw
I
most
saw
of them.
all but one.
Little Women.
Yeah, you know what? My favorite movie of the year is not gonna win. I love Ford versus Ferrari.
it was good.
I love the sound design. I love the race sequences, and I was on the edge of my seat. I was sweating. It made me feel things. I just wanted to put that out there. It should win for best editing, I think.
Another one, best editing, Oscar
I'm
pools.
calling that one.
He
Right
says Ford versus Ferrari.
now. I don't know why 1917 won best editing and the Golden Globes. It's like 3 cuts. I don't. I don't understand that. I think that 1917 will probably win because it's just like I said, it's just a triumph of execution. But once upon a time, because Hollywood is so narcissistic, it could also win as well. But I'm leaning toward 1917.
Okay.
So
You echo some sentiments that I share when I give you what I think might win. But go ahead, Hope.
I would be so happy if Parasite won because it's just a masterpiece of a film and easily the best movie I saw this year. And I think it has a shot.
I do too.
And I think Once Upon a Time in
shot.
Hollywood has a shot.
That's a
I
good
think
dark
those
horse
are the
pick.
I think but I think 1917 will win. It won the Producers Guild, which
Yeah.
is again it's all overlap. Everybody in the Producers Guild is also in the Academy.
There's
so.
only been a handful of times where the Producers Guild Award did not echo the same sentiment at Oscar, and that was recently too with Moonlight and
La La
Again,
La La Land.
again, it's
right?
because it's because of the way they vote on Best Picture. It's really the hardest one to try to figure out in advance because it's so often somebody's third choice.
So if you're recommending a choice to Oscar poolers, would you say 1917? Go
Yes,
with that?
I think
Yeah,
that's the
yeah,
likeliest
yeah.
winner.
But you would like to see Parasite win.
I would like to see Parasite win.
Yeah, that was an incredible movie. Now, John Whitney had some issues with the movie.
I thought some of the moments, there's some things I felt it was telegraphed a little bit. I like when
Where'd
the
he
girl,
go?
it just when the girl got the job at the house, I was like, she's got the whole family in there, and it happened. That's just me, but that's the thing that pushed me off a little bit of it, of like saying not quite as good as some of the other films. That's all. It was great, but that I had a little issue with some telegraphing. That was just me.
George?
Quickly, a couple snubs. We thought we thought The Farewell could have easily been in there.
Yeah.
And one of our very favorite movies of this entire year that we haven't mentioned, Toy Story 4.
Oh yeah.
We would have loved to have seen in there. Such a great movie.
Yeah, it is.
And even Knives Out.
Yes,
could
I
have
was.
liked to see in there.
I thought it would get a
I'm a little
nomination.
surprised.
Yeah, I was
But-
I saw it
surprised by
twice.
Yeah.
that. Yeah, so did I.
But I'm with you. I would pick Parasite as the winner, but I think 1917 right now seems the quote-unquote safe choice.
Yeah.
It's not that it's a safe movie, not that I think it's a compromise because I loved
Yeah.
it. But I think right now it seems to be the one that after the way that you describe the voting and it gets whittled down in rounds, I think that's going to be the one left standing.
I think one of the things I love about this year is that this is the first year in a long time where there's not a film in the mix that I just am deeply rooting against.
Green Room.
Yeah, there's no Green Room.
You did. You were definitely. I
love Green Room.
You were. You were green with something last year. In respects to the Green Book.
And I think most years there's at least one where I'm like,
Oh, I said Green Room, didn't I?
Yes, I love Green
no,
Room.
Book.
Green
Green
Book.
Book.
You do
Sorry.
love Green Room.
Green Room. Green Room. No, Green Book. Green
Book
Book.
is the one we
Thank
didn't
you.
like.
No, Green
Yeah.
Book.
No wonder.
Yeah.
My apologies. Yeah, I love Green Room. Yeah.
But I mean,
I think we were
love
all in
all
agreement
these
on that
movies.
one, too.
Yeah,
I think-
I love all these movies. They
We
were all
wanted.
so
I
good.
believe we wanted Black Klansman, right?
Ooh, that was good.
Yeah,
I love that movie.
Once again, Adam Driver.
Yeah, he's
in that one as well. Man, he's good. 1917, probably, yeah. But I'm with Whitney on the We Love Hollywood, and possibly Once Upon a Time in Hollywood sneaks in there. You know, as a would you say a narcissistic choice?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they love
maybe
anything
we
about
love
Hollywood, guys.
it.
Come
Yeah,
on. Really.
it's a possibility, but I guess if I'm filling out my Oscar ballot, I will pick 1917. I think. What do I care? No, I'm going to pick Once Upon a Time in
There you
Hollywood.
go.
There you
I'm going to pick Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I'm going to
Be a
go.
tiebreaker.
Yeah, I mean, have they had ties for Best Picture?
I don't think for best.
No, I don't think
They're
for Best
not-
Picture.
they're not allowed to
Best
have a-
actor,
they've
had
they have
acting
actors.
ties.
I don't
Acting
think they have
ties,
for
not a Best Picture tie. There was
Don't believe so.
it can't happen. It can't mathematically happen, or they won't allow it to happen.
I just don't think it has
now.
happened.
In the old, it could have happened in the old days.
Yeah,
but
I
don't
doubt
think it
now
did.
the way they just
Right, no, I
they
don't
would
think
just
it could.
probably send out for another vote.
Yeah, before it's all said and done. So, a quick recap for those of you as we start to wrap things up here on Whiskey Business. Best Picture, the unanimous choice that should win if you're filling out an Oscar ballot. This is if you should win, and will win. 1917, Best Actor, Joaquin Phoenix. Best Actress, Renee Zellweger. Supporting Actor, Brad Pitt. Supporting Actress, Laura Dern. Best Director, Sam Mendes. Did we cover it? Oh, and the screenplays, original screenplay we went with Parasite. And adapted screenplay, we decided it would be
Little Women.
Little Women, Greta Gerwig, who hopefully will continue to make great movies.
Oh, yes.
And along with Saoirse. I said it right.
Yeah.
Saoirse and Adam Driver. Maybe they'll all get Oscars in the same year, right? Before it's all said and done. The guest bottle has been Revival Bourbon Whiskey. A nice little whiskey made with 4 grains from High Wire Distilling Company. Not a cheap bottle. You can pick this up definitely down in South Carolina and some other places too. It's about $70 a bottle. But what's the consensus? I know you only had a sip of it.
I
and
thought it was
George
fine.
had a little bit more.
A little
of
bit,
it.
yeah.
it's good.
Very nice.
Care for it. Johnny liked it.
Yeah.
Hansberry, you liked it. I'm the one that's not super crazy about it.
Oh, well, okay, I'll take that home if you don't.
No, you won't take it home. No, you will not,
Yeah,
sir.
you know.
No, you will not, sir.
Are we gonna do it like? Do people know that we can be heard on iTunes?
This is what
And
Hansberry
on
always says.
I was gonna edit it in after the fact.
Okay.
I was gonna do like we did a watershed, just cut it in.
Cut it in later. Nah, we can still mention it now, though. For a second, right? No.
Hop on
rather
over to
not.
a microphone.
It's the first. This is the most quiet that Hansberry's been in a podcast ever.
You want to throw it to me?
Yeah, sure. I can do that. For those of you watching the YouTube version, you get to see all.
I won't cut this out.
You won't cut this out. No, it's too much work for Johnny. But Greg Hansberry, who's been off to the side on this particular podcast, so that John Whitney could talk movies. You have some information for us that we need to share.
We ask you to rate and subscribe to Whiskey Business on all your favorite podcasting apps: iTunes, SoundCloud, TuneIn are the big ones. And rate and share with all your whiskey and movie loving fans and friends that would like this episode. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Like us and share us and engage with us there. And Johnny edits. Hell, you don't edit any of it. Do you? It's on YouTube.
I have 2 fingers, so I cut back and forth.
He cuts back and
enough,
forth.
fair enough.
That's as far as I'm concerned. That's editing.
That's
Whiskey
editing.
Business with Dino Tripodis.
Yeah.
Subscribe to us there, and YouTube's nice because it pops up, and you're like when you're just sitting there at work, it'll be like, bloop, bloop, there's a new video from Whiskey Business, and you
Put it on the background.
That's right.
It's nice.
It's nice.
And then also the Screening Room
I was going to
podcast.
get to that. Yeah.
We'll put links on all of our stuff too for you guys too. The Screening Room podcast
and also
Fright Club.
Fright Club.
We have
Thank
a
you.
horror film podcast.
and one that's
film
specifically for
series
horror
called Fright
films.
Club.
And go ahead.
And then, of course, our main website, madwolf.com, mad
Yeah.
with 2 Ds. And you can also find us now every Friday morning at 9:30. We're on Good Day Columbus.
That's
giving
right.
Weekly movie
nice.
reviews. So
That's been going on for a little over a year
Just
now.
about a year now.
About a year
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that Columbus is embracing your opinions and listening to you guys?
We like to think so. We
Yeah.
haven't really asked though.
You're still on TV, so
That's
unless
right.
something's going on.
yeah.
I think you guys are delightful together.
Well, thank
I
you.
really do. And our guests have been George Wolf and Hope Madden from the Screening Room podcast. That's definitely a go-to if you want to find out. They see everything. I mentioned in the beginning that they leave no movie unturned. You really do. I don't know how.
If it opens in Columbus, we try.
I
Oh yeah.
See
don't
it.
know how you maintain other vocations
It's tough sometimes.
with the amount of movies
good
that you
problem to
guys
have.
see
Yeah, it is.
and write and talk about. But thank you so much again
Thank you.
for making it another fun
Yes.
Oscar podcast. The year's going to fly by. We'll do it again next year as well. And if something interesting movie-wise pops up between now and then, maybe we'll have you back on again.
All right.
Yeah, before it's all said and done.
Appreciate it. As
Don't
always.
forget about the premise, the 3rd Thursday of every month
See, I'm horrible at this. John
at the
Whitney and Greg-
Shadowbox Live upfront stage.
Yes, the 3rd Thursday of the month.
Yes.
This one will be on February
the 3rd Thursday.
the 3rd Thursday, the 20th, February 20th. This time around.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's good though, but no, words getting out. That,
Right.
and you guys came to
Yes.
to the premise.
It's
Yeah,
with-
but we
very
want to
funny.
make
It was
it
super
again.
fun.
Yeah,
a lot of times we
Thursdays
surprise
are
have
tough.
a movie on
Right.
Thursday.
Well, but yeah, I know,
Yeah, well.
I know.
But we definitely will make it
Yeah.
again.
Well, we're constantly tweaking and doing fun
It's a
stuff
fun
with
time.
that.
It is.
It's a fun
We're also
time.
going in and start I'm letting the cat out of the bag. We're also going to start incorporating a 2-person sketch
Ooh.
into it as well, where 2-person sketch teams will compete.
Nice.
I think
With
the
a
next show's gonna
with
be
a-
that
with a
way, right?
premise. I
Yeah.
think in February that's what we're going to
Now
do. So
it's
that's
up in
gonna,
the ante.
That's going to be up for some fun as well. So that's it, my friends. Good luck with your Oscar pools. And let's see how this another hostless Oscar, right?
Yeah.
No host.
No host.
That worked out fine for me last year.
Did.
That does, if that ain't broke, don't try to fix it.
Although if they're looking for a couple
Maybe you should check out Hope and George. Wouldn't
you
that
sing
be
and
nice if they took and I don't want to say when I say commoners, I don't mean that as an insult.
No.
But if they took just 2 movie loving people who actually know their shit, wouldn't that be
grassroots movement starts
Right?
tonight.
That's right.
Oscar, ABC? There they are, right there. They look good on camera. They got a whole year's worth of stuff to prove it. Consider it. All right, my name is Dino Tripodis, and until the next bottle, see ya.